Hello, 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 and welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to get started. So you are watching the part two of the three-part video series of how to write and sell your book. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Terrell PA, a motivational success coach. I help purpose-driven entrepreneurs and writers get unstuck and organized by writing your story and by packaging and creating your services. So hello, 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 and welcome. I'm also the author of My Broken Stiletto, A Woman's Guide to Up-Leveling Your Faith, Finances, and Fashion. And I am also the host of the TT Street Show podcast. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello. Share this broadcast out as you are watching this, and don't be shy. If something is resonating with you, please drop it in the comment section, okay? So hello and welcome. So today we are talking about, of course, the number one thing that you need to have in place before you write your book, okay? So if this is the second part, if you haven't, make sure you go back and watch the first video to this three-part series, okay? And also make sure that you register. There should be a link above or below this video that will notify you when I am actually live. So like I said, today we are talking about the number one thing you need to have in place before you write your book. So as you know, yesterday I told you that it wasn't always, great once my book was, once I was going through the writing process, some things came up. And today I'm going to tell you how those things came up, what I did to combat them, and how this could also help you. Okay. So as I was writing, one of the things that, kind of halted me a little bit was, should I self-publish or should I go the traditional route? And for me, it was a little bit like, it kind of kept me up at night a little bit, because I'm one of those people that, and if you're like me, once you start something, you want to complete it, right? And so I was like, okay, I know that I have a story to tell. I know that there's people out there who are waiting on what I have to say, right? And then I was like, okay, but how am I actually going to do this? Like, how am I going to get my book written? How am I going to get it complete? And then it was so much information about, like, I knew about the traditional route, and I also knew about, self-publishing. And so I was going back and forth, because I was like, okay, I know what I want to say, but I want to make sure that, I'm writing for the audience who is going to read what I'm writing, right? I didn't want my story to be boring, okay? I knew that, I was going back and forth with, like, okay, how long should this be? How long should I be writing for? When should I end the chapter? All of these things come up, right? And then when I realized that the reason why these obstacles were coming up was because it was fear-based, right? And so once I discovered, like, okay, this is just fear-based, I need to change my mindset, right? And so my mindset, I had to shift from, okay, thinking about, okay, am I going to keep going through the process of procrastinating because I simply don't want to make a decision? Meanwhile, there's people who are waiting to hear my story, right? So I knew that I had to continue along the process, right? I knew that I could not just be fair weather with it, with writing one day, not writing the next day, right? I knew I needed a strategic calendar, and I knew that I needed a writing calendar. I also knew that I needed a strategy that was going to take me from point A to point B, right? So all of these things were, coming up. It was the challenge. And then, it was the whole overall challenge of, okay, which direction am I going to go? Am I going to self-publish this thing, or am I going to actually go the traditional route? And so as I was going through the process, a couple things happened for me. Okay, so one of the things that happened for me was that I had to shift everything that I had thought that I knew, and I had to really treat my book like a business, right? I had to um, really just sit down and dig deep. And it wasn't until I tapped into my mind map strategy, and then when I combined that with my mission, that's when everything just came together for me, right? And so once I shifted that mindset from, just stop putting so much pressure on myself of, you know, not so much getting it written, but putting the pressure on making a decision, right? So I had to come quickly with, okay, I need to make a decision and I need to have a strategy. And once I discovered my mind map strategy and I combined that with my mission, it was smooth sailing. Like, I was able to write my book within 3 months. I got everything done. The fear was gone. I no longer didn't have to worry about who was going to read my book, because I had already had a targeted audience. I knew how I was going to sell to them. I knew what my mission was. Essentially, the thing that you need to have in place, the number one thing that you need to have in place before you start writing is, are you ready? What do you think it is? Type it in the comment section. What do you think it is? I want to know. What do you think it is? If you're watching this on the replay, type it in the comment section. What is that number one thing you need to have in place before you write your book, okay? It is your why, okay? Your why. You have to have your why in place before you write your book. Why? Because when you have your why in place, everything else will be centered around that, right? And so once I discovered that and I added my mind map strategy along with my mission, everything else, like I said, was smooth sailing. I was able to write my book in 3 months. Okay. I was able to get speaking engagements. I was able to start pre-selling before my book was even written. Okay. Now, tomorrow we're going to talk about that a little bit further. But for today, what I want you to know is that if you are struggling with, is my story too boring? How much should I be writing? What are people going to be thinking about my story, right? All of those things goes back to your why. And a lot of that could be fear driven. So one of the things that has helped me was, of course, my mind map strategy that I discovered along the process, because it just clarified everything. I gained clarity. And then once I started to treat my book like a business, I was like, oh, okay, this is easy. This is smooth sailing. I made a decision which direction I wanted to go. I knew who I was going to be selling to. I knew how long my chapters were going to be. I knew exactly what I was putting in my book. I knew, all of these things in the beginning where I was kind of like skeptical or was keeping me up at night. I now had a clear roadmap to get me to the next point. Okay. So everything had completely shifted for me once I discovered this mind map strategy along with combining my mission to it. Okay. So it's important to be extremely clear on your why. What is the purpose behind that? Yesterday, we talked about the power of your purpose, right? And when I combine all of these things together, my purpose, my passion, my mission, my why, and then the how with the mind map strategy, everything else just came together. Okay. So if you're struggling with this, just know that if I can do it, you can do it as well. Okay. And when you have a strategy, it just makes things super duper easy. Okay. So this is what has helped me to write my book, and I'm excited about this. I'm excited to share, my mind map strategy and how I was able to do these things. Okay. And so make sure, like I said, that you have registered with the link above this video so that you can get notified when I go live again tomorrow. Okay. And so I hope that this has cleared up any confusion for you, okay, so that you know what you need to have in place. You have to have that why intact before you even start writing, okay, because that is going to help you to bypass all of those other things that come up, because they're going to continue to come up. And even after your book is written, you may have some stuff that will come up as well. But one of the things that I have learned was how to disseminate all of that with my mind map strategy, along with my mission, combining those together. That has been extremely helpful for me. Okay, so that is it. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. Like I said, make sure you register for tomorrow. Now, if you need support around this and you're like, you know what, I can't wait until tomorrow, what I recommend is that you private message me. Just send me a private message. You can, just let me know, where you are and what you need assistance with, and I will be glad to help you along the way, okay, so that we can expedite your success as well. So that is it. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow for video number 3, which is the number 1. Wait a minute. Tomorrow, I believe tomorrow, what is tomorrow? Let me just check my notes really quick. So tomorrow is, why your book doesn't have to sell for you to make money. Okay, so make sure you tune in for that, because I cannot wait to dive in. Okay, so that is it. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. Bye.